Hello friends, TechMan Pat here. Today we're reviewing this, the G915 10 keyless wireless mechanical gaming keyboard from Logitech. And we want to answer the question, is this still a good option in 2023? Because this keyboard is a tad old, coming up to 3 or 4 actually years. Big thanks to Logitech for sending this version for review. Check out the links where you can get yours if you like it. And of course, let's get started by rolling the intro. Let's start with a bit of a walkthrough. This is a low profile keyboard. I like low profile keyboards, so I'm going to harp on about this for a little while, but this is also a 10 keyless keyboard. It loses the extra G keys on the left hand side here and the numpad. So if you want your numpad and you like those numbers, then unfortunately this keyboard ain't for you. But what it does mean, it gives you quite a lot of space back on your desk. So if you're gaming and not typing too much, this might be perfect for you. But it does keep the media controls and the volume roller, which I absolutely love. Now, it does have a brushed aluminum top and plastic on the back, but that's okay, not a problem at all. It's still very sturdy. There are no issues with flex, especially it's also shorter than other keyboards. I used a lot of force to try and get it to flex, and it was a slight flex right at the top here, which you wouldn't be putting that much pressure on in day-to-day use. Now on that back, it does have 6 rubber feet on the bottom, and technically there's 3 levels of height. It's the flat, then there is a pop-up here for one, and then another leg right here to hold it up. Now my preference is the highest level, but yours may vary, but I do recommend not using it flat. There is a dongle storage at the bottom, which is very, very nice. And I mean, if you're taking it places, which is great. Otherwise, it's sitting in your computer. So it's neither here nor there. But when you pack it away, sure, it can store in there. It is, of course, wireless, which means it has an incredible 1 ms response time. And it also has Bluetooth, just in case you want to connect this to a secondary computer, like a laptop. And that's really a really good use case, especially if you work a little bit and your laptop is sitting right next to connected to the same monitor. Great for that, and of course also good for iPads because it is actually quite a small keyboard and it's fairly portable. Now, as far as gaming wireless keyboards go, this is still the king of the hill in my opinion, even 4 years later. On the back, with the on and off switch, we have a micro USB, and that's really the part where it shows its age. But where it does not show its age is in the battery life. It's excellent. It says on paper 40 hours, but honestly, I swear it's much closer to 60. I only charged it once in a 3-week period, but that's also showing you how much I use it. There is some functionality that helps that battery life. There is an auto RGB off after a very long period of input, but then in between short input, it does reduce the brightness to 50%, which really helps with the battery. And of course, these settings can be modified in the Logitech G software, which is, as always, great, and every year it just keeps getting better. Now, of course, it means you can then jump in and change all the colors, but what's important to the battery life is that you can set it to pulse red or breathe red when the battery gets to a low percentage, let's say 10-20%. Now, onto the most important part of the keyboard, the keycaps. Now, to keep such a low profile, the keycaps are really flat. They're plastic and they seem to pick up a lot of finger oils. And I mean, after all, you do use your keyboard with your hands. You're not going to wash your hands every time you sit down in front of the computer before and after, like you're not eating a meal, but it does get quite dirty on the top. So I do recommend giving it a bit of a clean, otherwise it becomes quite shiny. Now, secondly, getting replacements, because my kiddo decided to rip half of these off, is a little bit more difficult. They're not a common keycap, so you do have to go to Logitech. Now, speaking of keycaps and clicking, let's talk the actual switches. Now again, this is my personal preference. These are the GL Tactile, very similar to the Cherry MX Browns. In fact, it's brown colored, but without that loud click that comes with the clicky. So let's have a listen. It's not loud. There is a quieter version, the GL Linear Reds, and let's have a listen to both of them, because I believe unless you're actually listening to both at once, you're not going to tell the difference. Now I like the click and I also like it quiet. It really depends. When I'm typing a lot, I do prefer less clicking. It gets quite loud. And this is a very good balance between no click and lots of click. So if you are looking for that slight click when you're typing, then these GL Tactile will be great. But there is one thing. There is still a lot of wobble in the keys. That wobble would be the most negative comment I can make about this keyboard. Otherwise, everything else is very, very positive. Lastly, RGB. As always, you have to have it in any peripheral, and keyboards actually are the ones that make the most sense in having RGB. Lighting up the keys at night so you can see where you're typing, because not everybody's a touch typist, is great. And here again, we've got some brilliant brightness and customization through the Wahoo, and you can put in any colors and variations as you wish. So let's talk gaming. This GL Tactic switch feels much better for typing. So if you're only gaming more than typing, you may prefer their GL linears instead. It's still a great keyboard, it's just a different feeling switch. In saying that, you'll have to have both side by side to really tell the difference, as mentioned before. So when I was playing Doom, I found myself noticing the click in the first 5 minutes because I was trying to pay attention to it, but then I totally forgot it very quickly and I got into the rhythm of the game. The wireless capabilities did not fail me at all. They were 100%. So even today, this wireless keyboard is absolutely magnificent, which explains why this is the world's #1 selling wireless keyboard in 2020. Since then, it's been hard to top this. In fact, there's no other big replacements for this one. So, apart from the wobble on the switches, this is still a great keyboard in 2023. Now, since I got my G915 full keyboard 3 years ago, I can show you what 3 years of usage looks like on those keycaps. And the D on my keyboard has started to wash out a little bit. Just that single key. The rest seem to be absolutely fine. I expect the WAS also to have some damage, but it seems to be only the D. Ultimately, the decision you have to make is, do you want a low-profile 10 keyless mechanical keyboard that performs at what I would call a steep price? You see, the keyboard can be got for $269 from PLE, links below of course, making this a very premium keyboard even at this age. Is it still worth it? Well, there is nothing quite like this on the market, so here's my recommendation. If you're already in the Logitech ecosystem, it's an easy choice. But if it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or Boxing Day at the shops and you see this keyboard on discount, then I would say go for it. It's a fantastic keyboard, and at a reduced price, it's an absolute steal. Friends, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Big thanks to Logitech for sending this keyboard for review. And of course, I'll see you all in another one. Bye!